Okay, you're asking why on the cardio channel are we looking at the engine? Because here is where a good audio system starts. It's where a bad audio system started. It's where any audio system starts. And what you're looking at and what you're concerned with in the engine bay is the alternator and the battery. Mine is a diesel engine. I have two. It takes power to make power. You must be able to maintain sufficient voltage to your amplifier so that it can make the power that it's rated to give. Irregardless of what I told you about impedance rise, it still take power to make power. You can't make something out of nothing. I have argued this or debated this with people that did not know and was trying to get the audio sound that I got with 2/8, 4/8, 2/10, 1/10. And I tell them all the time, it doesn't start back there. It starts right here. Right here. Right there. That little thing right there is the alternator. You need to know what your alternator rating is, whether it's 135, well, I see 115, 130, 135, 140, 160, 165, 180, 200, 220, 240, or I have a 260. You also have 320, 280, 280, 320. I've even seen them up to 400, 440. Those are custom alternators. When your system is playing, your alternator is doing the work. It is supplying the electrical needs of the entire system. That's why when you ride and you're bumping, your music is louder because the alternator is spinning on that pulley and is generating more voltage. It's able to maintain a higher voltage than when you sit at idle. Okay? Now, what assists your alternator is your battery. Because when songs play in different peaks of music, at different peaks and different frequencies of music, and look see what's going on. The demands of the music, different frequencies are being actually played by the amplifier. It takes a certain amount of power to reproduce that frequency. And that's what your battery does. Your battery helps meet those immediate demands quicker than your alternator can. So your alternator is charging your batteries, right? Whether you have one or two. And as the demands of music playing, this is like a bank. Look at this as a bank, and it's storing up power in reserve. As different peaks happen in music, there may be more than the alternator can give at that time. If it's actually for a peak of 110 amps, and your alternator is only generating 95 because you got the AC on, your lights on, then they can get that 100. They can get the remainder from the bank, and that's what your battery does. So that's why you need to have a good stiff battery. I run. This is a diesel, so to start my engine doesn't work on combustion, it works on compression. So I need a lot of electricity to first cut on. That's why it comes with two batteries. But I changed out my second battery to a cardio battery, excess power D6500. Let me see if I can see the number on there. Yeah, there it is right there. D6500. With excess power, you got to take half of that number. So this battery can support an amp that's 3,200 watts. That battery by itself, okay? And that's based on the amp hours. It would take playing full tilt to completely deplete that battery. It would take, oh man, where is it on? I think it's on here. How long it would take? It's dirty. Oh, here it is. Let me see if I can get that off so y'all can see that. There it is. Reserve capacity. At full power, 3,000 watt amp. You see that? It would take 150 minutes to completely deplete this battery. A 3,000 watt amp playing full tilt. It would take 150 minutes to completely deplete that battery. Now, would it be giving the full 3,000 for the entire 150 minutes? No. Will it be giving the full power of the amp, 3,000 watts, for 150 minutes? No. But as the amp is playing different music, depending on what frequencies you're playing, it would take 150 minutes to completely discharge that battery, completely. Now I have two. I also have, that's a Group 31 excess power. This is a Duracell Group 35. So basically, I have overkill in my system. My reserve capacity is, this 150. This over here is, I forgot what's the reserve capacity on this AGM. Oh, 140. You see that? So yeah, 140 and 150, we got 300 minutes. It would take about 4 hours to completely drain, 4 times 60, about 4 or 5 hours to completely drain both these batteries, because that's an AGM as well. I recommend that you do not use acid batteries. Get you a AGM, a glass mat battery, absorbed glass mat battery. Why? Because they have a, I forgot what it's called. It's a low ES something. It's a technical term, but anyway, it wants to freely give up its power, whereas a acid battery doesn't. It wants to store power and hold it. It gives it up begrudgingly. Absorbed glass mat battery, it takes a trickle charge, and it wants to give it up. And when the peaks of music burst happens, you want a battery that wants to give up its power. That's why you need to get an AGM. That's why people use AGM batteries. We'll get into the other different kinds of stuff later, but this is what I'm telling you where a system starts at. Now, based on what your amp rating is on your alternator, you can pretty much decide what amount of wattage you can support. If you got a 115 amp alternator, multiply that by 10, what you get, 1,000, 1,150. Okay, that means that your alternator can feasibly support a 1,000 watt amp. But remember, the alternator is designed to what? Also, it was the original design to supply the electrical needs of the vehicle. So all the amperage is going to different things that the vehicles need. So even though your alternator might be rated at 115, 120, 140, or whatever, and you multiply it by 10 and say, oh, I got a 160 amp alternator, which means I can support 1,500 watts, 1,600 watts. Also, mind you, that alternator was designed to support the electrical needs of the vehicle. So since the alternator can feasibly support that much, that's why you need to get a bank, an AGM, that has equal or more amperage than what your alternator can push out. And that will stop your lights from dimming. That would help your bass be deeper, because a good system starts first here. Alternator, battery, or batteries. Okay? Now, know this about AGM batteries. AGM batteries are not like acid batteries. The disadvantage of AGM battery is that it must be maintained. And you maintain an AGM battery with one of these. At least once a week. At least once a week, sometimes twice a week. I park my truck in the garage, and I take this smart charger. And they're different makes. I mean, I got this at, I think I got this one at Napa. And I set it, I don't know if you can see the settings. I set it right, where's it at? Right here, step 2. AGM or standard, you see that? It say step 2 right here. I set it AGM. I hook up the leads to either battery, either this one or this one. I set the leads up, connect the leads up, positive, negative to it. I select AGM. Boop. This light gonna turn orange. It's gonna let me know the battery is good. It's gonna go green, orange. And then I hit start. And when I come back 6 to 8 hours later, which is in the morning, this will be green. That means it has charged both batteries back to their full capacity. Because as I'm playing music, these batteries love to give off their charge. They don't like to store power. So since I'm using it as I'm riding, playing my system and other things, the alternator can charge it, but listen, my commute ain't nothing but 40 minutes. So my commute being 40 minutes and how I listen to my music at loud volumes, sometimes it might not fully charge my batteries back up. AGM, you need to maintain it yourself. You got an AGM battery, you need to get a battery charger. An AGM battery charger, so that you can, at least once a week, put them on charge, let them charge up. Keep them at full capacity. I can pretty much hear sometimes when my bass don't have that full richness that I want. I put my battery on charger. Okay? And that's, besides doing the big three, man, I got a diesel engine, so all my watches, before I even did anything, as you can see, it's one arc anyway. It comes from the factory, one arc. It comes from the factory, one arc. This was, I need two to fire my compression heads on I can't, it ain't coming to my mind right now. I need two, and this was the secondary to help it. I changed that over. So this is power. It's actually way more than I need. Both of them are equal. So that this one is where the falls gate is actually getting powered off this one, and this becomes the secondary. So as we operating the vehicle, you got primary, secondary. But to the sound system, it's primary, secondary to help assist the alternator. This is very, very important. If you watch any of my videos and you like anything I'm doing, you must know that I'm a firm believer in good stout electrical. Your system starts here. This is where your system starts at. Before you get anything, boost your electrical up. I have run up on many guys who think they had a system, 3,000 watt amp. Lord, man, I done had my 8s go in the street battles, go against guys with 15s. And the reason why mine were louder is because he had acid battery. He didn't know his amplifier rating. He was running 4-gauge wire. And he didn't have Stout electrical. So the power that he think he's getting, he's not getting. And I am. So even though I got less cone area, I know that it takes power to make power. And that's very, very important. I cannot stress that more. Forget any other video I done showed you and talked about. It takes power to make power. Your system starts in your engine bay. It starts at your alternator. Before you go buy a sub, before you go buy anything, say, man, you know what? Let me see what my alternator rating is. Okay, boom. So I want to run 212. I need 1,500 watts. My alternator is 115. Shit, I need to get 800 cold cranking amps. That's like 4 times more than the amperage coming off my alternator. I need to get a reserve capacity of greater than 120. I need to get that back to the amplifier so I can support 1,500 watts. So I can support 1,500 watts. We not even got to if you're going to get that because the impedance rise. But in a perfect world, I can support 1,500 watts, which is 150 amps. My system can support a 3,000 watt amp. I'm only asked for 15, but my fuse, because of dynamic peaks sometimes, I need a 250 amp fuse. I know for a fact that if I put a 200 amp fuse in here, on certain songs I play, it'll pop. It'll pop on certain songs. I mean, you can watch Willis and Auto Labs. It'll tell you sometimes this amp at one ohm can put out close to 2,000 watts. And on peaks, dynamic peaks in the music, it can do 3,000. And if this fuse will pop at 2,000. Whenever this fuse pops, I let me know I hit 3,000, but I'm not because I have my amp set correctly. And this is this is under what this battery can support. I always have more electrical than you need. So you can, man, you want to be able to play your music, turn your lights on, turn your AC on, turn everything on in the car, and your your bass should still stay the same, whether it's nighttime or daytime. And how that's done by starting your system here. Starting your system here, right here. What is my alternator rating? If you follow my page, I'm gonna get my Facebook page. Will be up shortly. My Instagram account is being up now. Some people have found it, commented already, but I'm waiting till I get everything on that I want, so it'll be enough content so people can learn a little bit more. Because I'm all about trying to help people get the most out their system. I'm not trying to impress you with my system overly much. Well, look what I got. This is what I'm doing. I'm trying to help you take not a substantial lot of money and get the loudness that you want. Spend the money that you got to spend, whether you want to run Boss, Kicker, Fallsgate, Sundown, or Sitting Audio, well, it makes no difference to me. I want to help you get the most out your system with the money you have to spend. And no matter what you run, it all starts here. Get this right. Get your electrical right. And you'll be amazed what 500 watts would sound like. I'm out of here, man. Get at me. You know you need a box. Look, hit the little like and subscribe. Share to others. Let them like and subscribe as well. Look down. You'll see how to get in contact with me if you need a box. Just hit it. If you do message me, you need a box or enclosure. Be mindful, there's a lot of other people messaging me too. I'm probably doing the wrong thing by putting my number up there. Maybe eventually I get to my email account. But right now, I can share my number and just be patient. Don't really call me to ask me a bunch of questions. You can text me and ask me a question, and then I will text you back. When you call, let it be about, okay, man, I need a box. I got this, and let me decide if I can do the box for you or not. Questions, just send me a text and be patient with me, and I will get to it sooner or later, okay? But just remember in this video right here, it takes power to make power. Like, subscribe, and the button down below. Peace. You know what it is, MBE, baby. We don't see sound. Sound is to be heard and felt.